So we just got done adding fractions together. Subtracting is going to be really the same thing. It's just once you get your common denominators, really you're just going to subtract the two. There's not much difference than what you're adding. There is one trickiness sometimes when you can't subtract. Like if you had 3 minus 5, doesn't mean you're supposed to get a negative value out of it. It just means that you may have to borrow. And so we'll see one that has a little bit of tricky to it. But basically, it's really the same thing as adding. So no matter what, though, adding and subtracting, you got to get common denominators. So that's what we're going to do. So if we're subtracting, same thing. What must be true to subtract fractions? Same thing. You need a common denominator. All right, so common denominator. Okay, so you have an 8 and a 32. The 8 can become 32 by multiplying by 4. So we'll be multiplying the top and the bottom by 4. 32. All right, so this one, we're going to turn that into a 12 over 32. This already has a denominator, so we don't have to change it at all. And then again, kind of the idea behind this is it allows you to just subtract the tops. Okay, so 12 minus 7 is going to get you a 5. And our common denominator is our common denominator. So 5 over 32. All right, mixed number. So there's a lot of different ways to do a mixed number. Let me kind of show you or go through. Well, we'll just do this. So it's still all about getting common denominators. So we still got to get, it's this 7/8 and the 1/2 that we got to deal with. We'll come back to the 15 minus the 4 later. So they both can become an 8. So you're looking at 7/8, 15 and 7/8. And we are going to multiply this in order to get the bottom to be an 8. We're going to multiply that by a 4, multiply that by a 4, and that's going to get us 4/8. Okay, so on this problem, which we're not going to see on this problem, you can do 7/8 minus 4/8, no problem. So 7/8 minus 4/8 is 3/8. So notice how I start with subtracting the fraction first, because if you can't do that step, we're going to have to adjust this piece. All right, so I'm going to hold off on subtracting the whole numbers until after I'm done with the fractions. So now we're good. 7 minus the 4 was 3. Perfect. 15 minus 4 is 11. All right, 11 and 3/8. All right, now C is not going to work that way. So first off, it says it's trying to mess with you, make sure you understand that the order of what's going on. You're subtracting 15 and 3/4 from 18 and 1/2. So you're going to take 18 and 1/2 minus 15 and 3/4. Okay, so we're going to start off exactly the same. We need common denominators. So I can make the 2 become a 4. So then we're going to have 4ths. So I'm going to multiply this by 2, multiply this by 2. So that's going to be 18 and 2/4 minus 15 and 3/4. Okay, but here's the problem. 18 is definitely bigger than 15. So we shouldn't get a negative answer. So 2 minus 3 would give us a -1. That doesn't make any sense because 18 is bigger than 15 as a whole. So there's no chance we should get a negative. What you need to do is you need to borrow. We need to make the first fraction, we need this to be bigger than 3. And that is done by borrowing. Okay, so we're going to take 1 out of that 18. Okay, we're going to turn that into a 17. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the 1 that we borrow off of it, and we're going to turn it into a fraction that we can combine with this one. Well, if we're going to combine it, we need a common denominator. So that 1 I'm going to turn into 4/4. Okay, because that is the same thing as 1, and I'm going to add it together with the 2/4 that we already have. So that becomes 6/4. Okay, we don't ever have to worry about the second fraction. We'll never borrow for the second. Okay, So now we can actually do 6/4 minus 3/4. Again, just like this other one, we're going to start with the fraction first, make sure we can do it. 6/4 minus 3/4 is 3/4. Okay, and then we have 17 minus 15 is 2 3/4. Okay, and that is our answer. So a little bit different just because we couldn't do 2/4 minus 3/4, so we have to borrow. We'll always only ever borrow 1 from the whole number. And the shortcut of this is we're going to increase our denominator or our numerator by 1 denominator. It's not a coincidence that that thing went up by exactly 6 because of what we had to do anyway. Okay, so that is subtracting. It doesn't happen often, but definitely there are times that it gets a little bit tricky because of that. All right, so that was subtracting fractions. Thanks.